Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Country with Weekly Comic Book Roundup. We've already covered this week's X-Men books, as well as Spider-Man books, and the new issue of Guardians of the Galaxy. So now we move on to this week's Heroes Reborn tie-ins. Well, this week's Heroes Reborn books, I should just say. As well as this week's Avengers-related title, the new issue of Star Wars, and the new issue of Magic the Gathering. So we'll kick things off with Heroes Reborn, number 2. Where we left off in the previous issue, Blade seemed to be the only person on the planet to remember the Earth the way it was. The existence of the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, vampires. And instead of all of those various groups of heroes, you had the Squadron Supreme of America. As well as President Phil Coulson. But Blade had helped Squadron member Nighthawk out against one of his nemesis, the Black Skull, Red Skull with the Venom symbiote. While Hyperion dealt with Dr. Juggernaut. So we begin years ago, when Galactus and the Silver Surfer came to Earth. Hyperion narrates and mentions how apparently in this version of reality, the planet he is from was destroyed by Galactus. And so, that happens. Yeah, that's right. He literally flies through Galactus's head. That's not going to cause it. That didn't cause any problems in the galaxy, I'm sure. But we find out that now he, as Mark Milton, he is an American history teacher. But while grading papers, he gets a call from S.H.I.E.L.D. scientist Reed Richards. Apparently there's been a breakout at the Negazone prison. And so Cape Canaveral, he deals with the Imperial Guard having been turned into the Brood. We'll actually get to that later, which is good timing. Then there's Mr. Beyonder, who is turning the people of Arkansas into flying sharks who shout, "This world is built on lies, and Hyperion is the mightiest liar of all." But he mentions that even with the fact he processes his thoughts at super speed, the words bother him more than they should. At the Daily Bugle, young Peter Parker is trying to get Hyperion to come help as the Hive of Annihilation had been cracked. Also, Ultron is loose. And we find out that as Ant-Man, Hank Pym was Hyperion's sidekick. But his automation experiments consumed him. And we get the whole kind of the new status with Ultron where him and Hank are merged into one being. But this Ultron is powered by Pym particles. But it turns out there's still one more foe left. The Hulk. Who is in Mark Milton's history class. Addressing the students. Also, fun fact, apparently, Hyperion, or Mark Milton teaches at Buscema High School, or Buscema High School. But, Hulk and Hyperion duke it out, and, I mean, Hyperion's actually able to harm the Hulk. He is that strong. I mean, he's literally Marvel Superman. And Hyperion kills the Hulk. So as he's dying, Hyperion notes that Hulk's last words were, "Steve, and where's Steve?" But everyone's taken back to the Negative Zone prison. And while but Milton does what research he can and looks into Captain America. You know, apparently he went down somewhere in the Arctic Ocean. Checked every iceberg, every inch of the seafloor. No trace. But he does find deep inside an ice fissure signs that someone else had been there recently, removing something from the ice. That he then goes for, as he puts it, a soak in the sun. Gets some clarity and basically decides Captain America is long dead and Hyperion is Super Sentinel of Liberty, now and for all the tomorrows. And this world is the truth of all truths. And even if it was somehow a lie, he would fight like hell to keep it exactly the way it is. And we do ourselves a backup story. Mark Milton teaching his history class about the end of World War II. And how, in this version of reality, Hitler did not commit suicide, but rather was decapitated by power purchase of the invaders. 4 months later, Japan surrendered as well, following the complete destruction of several coastal Japanese cities by the name of Atlantis. But something's off, and so as Hyperion, he shoots up as Hyperion, and there's a strange man sitting outside his classroom. Apparently, though, Hyperion's atomic vision keeps shorting out when he tries to scan this man. They shake hands. Handshake hurts Hyperion. And Hyperion feels weak around him. As soon as quickly as he's there, the man is gone. Having been carried away from the scene by Blade. And the mysterious stranger reveals himself to be none other than Steve Rogers, Captain America. And the two of them, Cap asks what else he's missed. And Blade tells him he'll show him. Because they've got work to do. And that is where the issue ends. Which brings us to our next book, also Heroes Reborn title, Hyperion and the Imperial Guard. This is designed in a manner to be a flash, as though it was an older issue of a comic, of the Hyperion and the Imperial Guard comic. It's entitled Coda. Deep space. Just above the hull of the Shi'ar vessel Magister's Mercy, Hyperion is watching when he's summoned forth by Oracle of the Imperial Guard. It appears the two are lovers. Hyperion has been sent to to learn, to learn from Gladiator a bit. But it's his last day on his mission to serve with the Imperial Guard before he returns to Earth. But they've just the Imperial Guard, is, with the help of Gladiator, has helped to stop one of the greatest threats to the Shi'ar throne, Deathbird. But someone needs to investigate their hidden keeps, so they figure they may as well. It turns out to be in the negative zone. Hyperion is one of the few beings who actually can enter the negative zone. So they do. They go along. Flashfire is stung by a bug of some type. Upon arriving at the keep, Manta, Gladiator, Oracle, and Hyperion look it over, and Hyperion and Oracle opt to check the perimeter. More honestly, to have some alone time. Oracle has decided that she's going to see about, once they're done investigating the keep of Deathbird, she's going to see about, leaving the Imperial Guard to come to Earth with Hyperion. Neutron and Flashfire have a brief moment. However, Flashfire's not feeling too well, and Neutron notices this. He takes it to a tree, and in the branches of the tree are glowing red eyes. Many, many pairs. And Neutron is promptly attacked as well. Turns out, among the secrets hidden in Deathbird's hidden keep are the Brood. And so Neutron, Flashfire, and two of the others, I do not recall. Their names off the top of my head have also been turned. Mantis sacrifices herself to destroy the hive. But Oracle turns in Hyperion's arms, and he seals the gate to the negative zone. With the remaining Imperial Guardsmen inside. And he mourns the loss of his love. We also have a backup story. A special preview of Starjammers #1. Now bear in mind, this is Starjammers under the Heroes Reborn universe. The Starjammers. Corsair, Hepzibah, Corsair's sons, Havoc and Cyclops, as well as the other two members of the crew, the ragtag space fighter crew, Rocket and Groot. So Scott and Alex are horsing around in the ship's gym, but when they're stopped by Rocket and Groot. When an alarm goes off, remember, the Nova Corps wants to speak with them. This happened shortly after the events of the presumably final issue of Hyperion and the Imperial Guard, as it's mentioned that the Imperial Guard is missing. But so Nova Corps Centurion Jonathan Storm comes to them, intended to commandeer their vessel. A fight breaks out between them, but there's the Starjammers are under attack by suddenly under attack by the Shi'ar. When Centurion Storm explains exactly what he's brought with him. The true Majestics of the Majestics in exile of Chandalar, true regent of the Shi'ar Empire, Lilandra, who wishes to recruit the Starjammers to help her reclaim her throne. And how does she plan to do that? By capturing the Phoenix Force. And that is where the issue ends. Definitely makes for an interesting reality. Johnny Storm as Nova. Yeah. Anyway, moving on, we've got Peter Parker, the Amazing Shutterbug. Now, bear in mind, all of these are one-shots. Just kind of filling out kind of this is how this world is. So we get Peter Parker's life story, Peter Parker's origin in the Heroes Reborn universe. He narrowly avoids being bitten by a genetically modified spider while on a school field trip. The spider gets stepped on. Upon graduating, they had a senior science showcase. He got first place. Flash Thompson shows up to bully him some, and sadly, Peter's unable to reclaim his science project. At Empire University, years later, he creates he manages to make some drones, and he gets a call from his Aunt May. She's on her way into the city to go to Gamble's. And, he's going to try and go see her. He's working with his drones, and he meets a young Carolyn trainer, and they see Hyperion fly off. Apparently, he's going to fight the villain Hovermaster. He's defeated when Hyperion throws a Daily Bugle sign at him, which lands in Gamble's. After the funeral, Peter gets a job at the Bugle. With his drones, he can get pictures of heroes, doing their thing. He explains his uncle is not doing that great since his aunt died. And, he wants to take care of his uncle the way, his aunt and uncle took care of him. Well, Jameson is not in favor of hiring him. Well, Robbie is. So. But today, Ben and Peter have a talk about the fact that Peter's kind of just not gone anywhere in life. And Ben tells him that, he wants Peter to be the man that, him and May raised him to be. Someone who engages with the world even when it beats him down. With purpose in his eyes. And he basically points to someone like, this is my purpose, and adds he's not special. And Ben tells him that you don't have to have great power to do great things, but first you have to want to. And then later that day, Peter comes upon the Annihilation Hive. Manages to get Hyperion shows up to stop it before going after Ultron. Apparently, there's others he has to go after as well. Winter Soldier and his Widow Guard, the Undersea Terror King Namor, the Freak Show Mutant Force. Well, oh, I got that wrong. They've already been detained. Just the Hulk is left. And after Hyperion flies off, Peter walks in the building, mumbling jerk under his breath. When one of the bugs from the Annihilation Hive follows him inside. But the Annihilation Bug starts doing damage within the Bugle. And so Peter, quick thinking, sticks a fire extinguisher in the microwave, works on getting everyone out, and electrocutes the bug. And only to realize too late that it bit him. And so he begins to change into something, growing extra arms and more insectile appearance. Before the change can take hold, Peter leaps out of one of the windows of the Bugle. And that is where the issue ends. Kind of depressing. Yeah, thoughts on the two Hyperion or two Heroes Reborn one shots. Hyperion the Imperial Guard was solid. The Starjammers bit was up probably. I enjoyed the Starjammers bit a bit more. I like the Imperial Guard. Hyperion just kind of. Hyperion is basically what you get if all of the edgy Superman sucks type of people, including the person I was years and years ago, actually design Superman the way he should be. Yeah, so yeah. So I'm not the biggest fan. When he's written right, this version of Hyperion, well, he is written right. This version of Hyperion is being written right. There have been other versions of Hyperion which have actually been, very much a slightly more, slightly Superman, but willing to go a little bit further than Superman would. So, but yeah, the Starjammers backup in Hyperion the Imperial Guard was definitely my favorite part of the book. Peter Parker Shutterbug was kind of depressing, to be perfectly honest. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Spider-Woman, number 12. Where we left off, Spider-Woman had gained some new villains. Oh. Los Espadas Gemelas de Toledo. The Twin Blades of Toledo. But apparently, one of them got captured in a recent fight with Jess, and the one that's been captured wants to talk to her. So she goes to talk to him in prison, and they get their origin. The swords were made from meteor metal, but and they were used by conquistadors until the those the conquistadors would have conquered rose up, took the swords, and killed the conquistadors. And so they've been passed along for generations. And these two found them most recently. Meanwhile, the one that would not, the one that escaped, has both swords. And he's trying to free his brother. So, cue the prison fight scene, and yeah, everyone is freed. Jess manages to pick up one of the swords, and it's talking to her. So she's like, yeah, no. But, turns out the captured brother even realizes that one man is not supposed to wield both blades. But the freed one is like, hey, yeah, I can totally wield both. And so one gets his hand cut off, but Jess fights him using her. Turns out that her with her new costume, the wing blades are removable. Or web wing, whatever. But she defeats them both, and heads home to talk to Roger. Heads home, and Roger, her boyfriend, father of her baby, breaks up with her because Jess has been rather distant from him. We get an epilogue, however. 6 months later, the brother who had his hand cut off has made a prosthetic, and he and both brothers are working on something to take down Spider-Woman. And that is where the issue ends. And so we travel from the Marvel Universe a long time ago in a galaxy to a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Star Wars number 13. Okay, no legacy numbers. Cross and product. So for the next few months, we will be picking up the various Star Wars titles, and I can't believe I forgot about this when I was talking the other night when I finished my recap on King in Black. This is going to be the next event recap, War of the Bounty Hunters. Where we left off in Part 1, in the aftermath of Empire Strikes Back, Boba Fett, while on his way to Tatooine to claim the bounty from Jabba, noticed something was wrong with the Carbonites, so he went to Nar Shaddaa to get someone to help him out. But he needed to make some extra credits to pay for that. So he fought in a fighting pit, defeated all comers, planned to use the reward to pay for, the work on Fett. But his contact was killed, and Han was stolen. We also find out a little bit of what's been going on in the comic as well. Their both fleet awaits word from their missing comrades. Shara Bay lost on Starlight Squadron's first mission, and Han Solo frozen in carbonite in the hands of the infamous bounty hunter Boba Fett. A friendly signal from the Imperial Star Destroyer Tarkin's Will reaches redemption in the middle of the night. Shara is alive, hiding in the depths of the ship and gleaning information about the Imperial systems. But the rebellion still sees Boba Fett and his cargo. So, Luke does some lightsaber training. Turns out that R2 got some information for Luke, but Chewie arrives. There's been a sighting of Boba Fett. So they're going to go investigate. It's suggested that maybe they should bring Luke suggests maybe they bring Lando along, but Chewie isn't ready to trust Lando just yet. And Han probably wouldn't be too happy to see Lando right there when he's being rescued. So so they go to Nar Shaddaa. Find out that it turns out there's a a free Wookiee who's an old friend of Chewbacca's who works security at the fight pits. Luke basically buys some information. Doesn't get much, only that the new champion is named Jango, or calls himself Jango. But there are no records as to who he really is. However, the enforcers of the Hutts of Narkanji show up to deal with the rebels. Not really the rebels, basically kind of saying, oh, you're asking questions about, oh, so you're looking for the guy that, we're mad at. But Luke draws his lightsaber, usual, deflects blaster bolts. Chewie fires his bowcaster in the crowd. Yeah. They make it for an escape, but the Narkanji enforcers have put the word out that there's a Jedi on Nar Shaddaa. Everyone knows there's a bounty from the Empire for Jedi right now. But they get into the Falcon, they lift off. And R2 reveals to Luke that he acquired a database on the Death Star. The database that places Luke could learn more about the Jedi. And keep studying. And Sagwa, Chewie's friend, has decided to join the Alliance. Also, General Organa has sent a transmission saying that she needs the Falcon to return the fleet immediately. Seems to have received a coded message from an unknown party claiming to be in possession of Han Solo. Yeah, the first month's worth of War of the Bounty Hunters tie-ins are basically the prologue. Moving on to our final books of the video, Magic the Gathering, number 2. Where we left off, the Ravnican Guild Masters from the Izzet, Golgari, and Orzhov guilds were all attacked by assassins. One was left alive and brought to Jace Beleren to find out who'd hired them. However, he had a mnemonic weapon in his mind and was able to place Jace in a coma. And so, the three planeswalkers went to Zendikar, away from prying eyes, to figure out what to do next. Zarek suggests an alliance, and neither Vraska or Kaya were, neither thought it was a truly bad idea. However, someone is watching. After returning to Ravnica, they go to check on Jace. He's still healing. But the hospital is attacked by assassins. Including ghost assassins. So Kaya deals with the ghost, Ral and Vraska deal with the others, and before Vraska can get the answers she wants from the last assassin, he uses a suicide capsule. And so a meeting of the Guild Pact is called. And we and it's decided that the three of them will look into this themselves. But an interesting thing is noted. There is no representative present from the Dimir Guild. And assassins, suicide capsules, very much the kind of thing that Dimir would go for. So, decided they'll see just why Lazav, Guildmaster of the Dimir, did not show up for the meeting of the Guild Pact. At the very least, find out why, and then find out if they have anything to do with the attempted assassinations. Back on Zendikar, however, we learn that the mysterious figure watching the three planeswalkers earlier was none other than the Metal Mage Tezzeret. Also a planeswalker. Who simply says, "The Ghost Killer, the Scum Queen, and Lightning Rod. This has gotten a little more interesting." And that is where the issue ends. That's going to be it for this video. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal account in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.